Ashok Sani was a beloved husband and father. While he considered his family to be his calling, he also had a deep commitment to giving equal recognition to all of his interests in ethics, truth, love, peace, nonviolence, compassion, and moral and social responsibilities. All live on through the Ashok Sani Scholar in Residence program at NYU and the Ashok Sani All-Star Dad Award, both of which are underwritten by the Sani Family Foundation. In the spirit of Ashok Sani, Esquire invited its readers to submit nominations for this year's All-Star Dad. The All-Star Dad Award honors a father who goes beyond being a responsible caregiver and a loving mentor. We look for a father who gives extraordinarily to his family and to the world around him, a man whose tireless efforts make life better for his children and the community. This year, the National Father's Day Committee, Esquire Magazine, and the Sani Family Foundation have selected Brent Johnson as the 2019 All-Star Dad. Brent's son, Jack, wrote this essay with much help from his grandmother, who unfortunately could not be here today. But at this time, I would like to ask Brent's wife, Jamie, to come up and share why Brent deserves this honor so much. Welcome, Jamie.
Thank you. It is an honor to be here today and celebrate our family. I will read the letter on behalf of Grammy Deb, who is not able to be with us today. Hello, my name is Jack, and I am 9 years old. My Grammy Deb is writing this for me as I am unable to see, speak, walk, or do any of the things that normal kids do, but I want the world to know that I have an all-star dad. My mom and dad married, got their college degrees, and bought a house in their hometown. When I came along, they were over the moon. No one knew yet that I was a special baby. Then when I was 3 months old, I had a seizure. They did a lot of tests, and eventually I was diagnosed with cerebral palsy, microcephaly, and blindness. Each new diagnosis was a devastating blow to my parents. When I grew bigger, I needed a wheelchair. Getting me and my chair in and out of the car was difficult. My parents found a van called an MV1, which is wheelchair accessible but very expensive. My parents knew they were blessed to have good enough jobs to provide this for me, but it bothered my dad that when he knew other families with kids like me weren't so lucky. The thought of helping others sparked something in my dad, and he got the idea to start Giving Songs, a nonprofit charity that helps families with blind, multi-disabled children buy wheelchair-accessible vehicles. Please check out givingsongs.org for more information and pictures. My dad does everything for me. He bathes me, feeds me, and most of all, loves me with all of his heart. He works over 60 hours a week as a supervisor for a major trucking company. He devotes any spare time he finds to the charity and helping others. I can't think of anything he does for himself. I can't make my dad cards to say I love him like my sister does. I can't put my arms around him and thank him for being the greatest dad ever. But with Grammy's help, I can nominate him for this award. Please help me do this for my dad. Best regards, Jack Johnson. Thank you.
Take a picture. Yep.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jamie, for sharing that beautiful letter. And thank you to my mother, Deborah, for writing and submitting it on Jack's behalf. Thank you to the National Father's Day and Mother's Day Council, Esquire Magazine, and the Sani family for inviting our family to receive this distinguished award. It is strange and perhaps difficult to think of our family as special. I've spent the better part of 2 weeks reflecting on our story, and the one sentiment I keep returning to is pride. I am so proud of my wife, Jamie, son, Jack, and daughter, Ava. Jamie, I've been thinking about those 2 kids that started dating and fell in love 20 years ago. They scraped together money to get sushi on the weekends. Do you remember those kids? They laughed constantly and became the best of friends. Excuse me. They planned a life and started their family. What they didn't know is how difficult their journey was going to be. I've cried myself to sleep many times over how hard your life is. And in those moments, the only thing that overshadows the sadness is the overwhelming awe and amazement I have at your strength and how gracefully you care for our family. I'm proud of those 2 kids that have been knocked down and are still standing together, still laughing. I'm proud of you and the woman you've become. Jack, my boy, there he is. Jack, I had all kinds of plans for the 2 of us. We were going to ride motorcycles and fly airplanes, and we were going to play catch in the yard. And as I learned about the many challenges you face, I realized that none of those activities were going to be possible. But what was apparent early on is your love for music. You inspired me to pick up a guitar and learn to play so we could have that connection. That bond was the fuel that flamed the start of what would become Giving Songs, an organization that changes lives, not in a token way, but significantly. It gives families back the basic freedom of transportation, reducing their isolation, and allowing them to rejoin their community. Jack, you've accomplished this without the gift of sight, speech, or mobility, and you've introduced me to what has become my life's work. In other words, Jack, you've given me my purpose. And Ava, my beautiful, funny, and creative daughter, you bring so much joy to our family. And your mom and dad have learned a lot from you. As soon as you were old enough, tall enough, as soon as you were tall enough to reach the handles on your brother's wheelchair, you insisted on pushing him. You taught us how to enter a room, often as an unwanted center of attention, without a care in the world, loud and proud. You've become a wonderful and loving friend to your brother Jack. You are his #1 advocate and his voice when he needs it. You've given me a full heart, a life of abundance, and you've given me back my smile. Jim and Karen, Jamie's parents, thank you for being here, not just today, but every day. We wouldn't be here without you. Ladies and gentlemen, this experience has been like something out of a fairy tale. And as the Johnson family heads back to Detroit, you can rest assured that we will be living gratefully ever after. Thank you so much.